Welcome, everyone, to a special episode of Riding Through the Unknown. I'm your host, Michael, and I am joined today by a guest many of you are so familiar with, and I am blessed to have her on because we are actually going to be promoting something today in this hour that is coming up next month. So I am going to turn it over to the one, the only, incredible, amazing, super talented Gina Virginia Casella.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here today. And I really loved your intro, Michael. That was nice. Looked very like I wanted to get in there and watch a movie. And speaking of movies, all of my content is merging together. So if you've been following me on Buy Me a Coffee, that means you're up to date with the latest. It's free to follow me on Buy Me a Coffee, Gina Virginia Casella, and you get in on the emails by default. So my book series, those of you who may or may not be familiar with me, like Michael, I've had all kinds of interesting experiences my whole life. One thing led to another, and it's led me to where I am today. And that is the visionary and creator of the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. And Gina Virginia Casella is my business name. I was a public school teacher for 20 years. And now this is what I do. I'm a spiritual biz entrepreneur. And so the umbrella term, if you will, is called Project 30 Isis Unity Consciousness. There's much, much, much to be said about that. But today I want to just focus on the highlights. I'm feeling super pumped up. If you're interested in getting involved, please reach out. I need as much help as I can. I've got lots of volunteers, and I feel really proud of myself because I do have a lot of experience to carry forward with me from my career. But creating videos and little, backgrounds like this here, it's not my thing. And so if there's somebody out there listening who this kind of stuff brings you lots of joy, I could absolutely 100% use you to help me help others. And that's by letting others know that we're around, because everyone needs community. I'm quite passionate about false inhibiting beliefs. Geez, I used to beat myself up so much. And to make a long story short, a lot of us suffer from one, two, or all three of these things. And what are these things? That there's something wrong with us, that we're not enough, or that things are not available to us. And why do we think that? Because of false inhibiting beliefs. I know all about the rules of the mind. Your mind's number one job is to protect you, even if it means creating false inhibiting beliefs that keep you stagnant. Now, where I'm at in my life, I offer services. I can help you. I do mind reprogramming. I recently graduated from the Four Winds as a master energy medicine practitioner. I actually didn't realize the master part was on there. I just took it because I love it so much. And then my certificate came in and I was like, but I do other stuff too. And that other stuff is building community, because like you folks who are listening in to Michael's show, Riding Through the Unknown, and all of my Dragon Dreamers, the Soul Tribe Collective, we know what it's like to feel like that oddball. Most of us have been persecuted in past lives. That's why we are like we are. That's why we can be sensitive to things for reasons we don't even understand. Radically have to accept things through dreams, half misunderstood and half remembered. So I'm one of those folks that I always have way too much to say. It's too easy to slip into timelessness with me. And I really hope those of you who are not familiar with me got a little introduction here, because how you think and feel is so important. And you, each and every single one of you, yes, you, are so powerful that we really don't even know. And so we have to recognize our power, because that power is the very present moment. There's nothing else. There's no past, there is no present, there's no future. There just is. And we call it is present. Okay, good. The present moment. Good for us. We have a name for it. Like I said, it's too easy to slip into timelessness with me. So I'm very passionate about talking about the logical mind and the creative part of our brains, the right side, the left side, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind. And I learned the hard way, like most of us, that every single problem that we have with ourselves is our problem. Whether we created that problem intentionally or not, somehow through the powers that may be, our lives are what they are. So what are you going to do? Be depressed about it? Bitching, complain? Sure, maybe weave between a bit of both of those. When are you really going to take charge of your life? When are you going to stop letting life live you? When are you going to live your life? I had no idea how much of my life was living me. My life was in survival mode. And so when it comes to community, I've come to realize there's all different kinds of communities out there. And the community that I resonate with is the dream ecosystem. And that's a community we all default to belonging to. When it comes to belonging, that's vital. And like I said, we're so powerful that every single thought that we have, whether we mean to have a thought or not, did you have a thought or did the thought have you? I always like to throw that out there. But every single thought that you have, even when you're sleeping and you have absolutely no conscious awareness of it, every single thought is followed by an emotional reaction, and that emotional reaction triggers chemical response in your body. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we can talk about time being an illusion, not for the biological ones. And every single pressing moment that passes by, our chemistry is constantly changing. And I realized this alchemy that we belong to, that's the soul tribe that I resonate with. I really don't do well with others who are not taking charge of their lives, right? That's where I'm at. And this is part of the Andean medicine wheel, which I'm passionate about, and the power animals, eagle condor medicine, rising above. Well, you know what? Part of rising above is investigating those details. So we weave and we weave and we weave. So I said to myself a year ago, actually, I wanted to buckle down and host a conference in honor of the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective and folks out there who resonate with everything that I'm saying, living consciously so you can die consciously, being in tune with the rules of the mind, rapid transformational therapy, hypnotherapy. There's other modalities out there too, Psych K, Dolores Cannon, huge influence, right? Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, Alberto Villaldo, Marissa Peer. I mean, my intention isn't to drop names. Those are the names I drop because I know that things that I talk about, their research supports and also helps to support the foundation of the conference that I'll be hosting. And what is that foundation? It's rooted in the social emotional learning, how you think and feel, the importance of epigenetics. And so if you feel inspired, those are some names that you can look up and go check out. So I created this little poster here behind me. It's the first ever Story Species, Story Medicine. I'll move right out of the way here. Story Species, Story Medicine, the continuum of conscious evolution conference series. And there's going to be 5. Right now, there's 4 online. They've all been confirmed. And the fifth one, I'm hopeful, it's a bonus one to be determined in person this summer. So this one here is called Promise of Spring. It's March 14th. It's the first one ever. And I decided the first one of every year is going to be free. And if you can't make it March 14th, hey, you'll be able to catch the replay. And we're going to kick it off at 8 a.m. and it's going to go right up until 6 p.m. and it's online, so everybody can tune in internationally. Now, here's what's really exciting. About a year ago, I wanted to do this. And I just, started throwing it out there. You would not believe the negativity I got. Okay?
Oh, I would.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. People I don't even know. And I'm telling you this for a reason. People I don't even know messaging me, who's going to want to help you? Why would anybody want to volunteer? Why wouldn't? Because I want to transform my books into movies. My books, they're about me. I'm the hero in my hero's journey. But I quickly realized my books are about all of us, and anybody could really put themselves in my book. And just a lot of backlash. Why would anybody help you when they can just promote their own book or whatever it is, right? And it was a real lesson to me to narrow down my focus even more. And so I recoiled and I kept doing my thing. I kept working on myself. I pursued things that were interesting to me. And you know what? I kept throwing it out there to the universe. I work with whole energy, so there's no push here. And then finally, in 2026, I said to myself, I'd really like to transform my books into movies, even if I have to figure it out on my own, even if it takes 500 years to do this, even if my videos are like, 1 to 3 minutes each. Don't care anymore. And I also started to notice there's a lot of dragon dreamers out there who they're like me. They don't care anymore. It's not about the money. It's about community. And that's the power of the currency of the heart. That's the greater heartbeat that we all belong to, right? Money is an illusion. Well, tell that to the biological one, right? So the good news is I threw it out there and I didn't get backlash this time. I either got no responses or people immediately responded. And all of a sudden, I'm booked. So I actually had intentions of asking certain people to present, and I actually have to tell them, like, sorry, I'm actually booked now, so I'll have to have you in June or some other time. And so this is very exciting. I've already have presenters that I'm plugging in for the next conference in June. All the times and dates are figured out. It's set in stone, except for the one that I'm hopeful to have in person. So the in-person conference, I'm hopeful, no promises. I'd like it to be in London, Ontario, Canada, or surrounding area. London has one of those smaller airports that's more manageable. And there's a really great buffet restaurant I'd love to take everyone to, even if we go there 2 nights in a row. It's one of those buffets you can totally have a different meal each day. So I'm really looking forward to that. I feel like what I'd like to do now is just maybe take you through my slides. And I also created 3 small videos. There's going to be dragon presenters. There's going to be dragon healers. And we even have some dragon virtual vendors all lined up, ready to rock and roll March 14th. So just before I show you those slides, and thank you for listening and taking this all in. I messaged Michael behind the scenes. I'm like, I'm going to be there on time, but I'm just going to be making it. You know how technology is, right? And so again, anybody out there listening would like to be involved, I could absolutely use your volunteerism, especially in the technology department, advertising, helping to make fun little videos. And of course, transform the books into movies. Maybe just before I tell you about like the structure of the day. I'm just checking the comments here. Hi, Tammy. I see you're tuning in. And Tammy's commenting, extremely important community. People that don't have families need community. That's right. And the thing is, like, we all need community, even if you're the introverted type and you prefer to be a lone wolf, you still, at some point in your life, the shaman needs a shaman. We need each other. And we do heal with the earth on a literal level, Mother Earth and the elementals. And we heal with each other, each of us a Mother Earth in our own right. Walking, talking trees, that's what I call us. And that's what Story Species, Story Medicine, Extra Strength is all about. And Tammy's commenting 100%. And she also mentioned, so I identify with that, but you can't force people. But I get frustrated too when people don't help themselves. Yeah. Like, it's one thing to be in a rut. It's one thing to go through a shitty time and, maybe even to take a few months off, maybe even a year or two, and just really like do some self introspection, deep reflection. But at what point are we stagnant? And at what point do we move on? And you know what? There's a difference between running away and moving on with your life, right? Because if you're running away, your problems will haunt you. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But recognize the epigenetics around you, because a lot of us are in toxic environments. We're in survival mode. And before we go and blame others, we need to remember that we too contribute to the epigenetics of others, right? So we might be somebody else's problem. Maybe we're always bitchy and moody and we don't even realize it, and it's causing a negative environment, And Tammy commenting to have healthier boundaries in 2026. Absolutely.
Well,
So
the
go
important
ahead,
thing
Mike.
too, also to look at though, when to keep from getting frustrated about people, that were saying don't want to help themselves. Everything happens in divine time, and so it may not be their time yet. So we can't get frustrated with them because just because it's our time to fix something doesn't mean it's Gina's time or Tammy's time. And so that's something that I think is really important to note and to help people, is to realize you have to step back and go, it's not their time. So when it's their time, I can be here to help them if they ask, when they ask. But yeah, I can't make it their time.
Michael, what you said is beautiful and right on the money. And I'm glad that you said it, because I don't remember to say that enough. And I faced the stigmas of mental health. And I had to fight for insurance money. And eventually I got cut off because I was taking too long. And I had a conversation with a naturopath. And unfortunately, the naturopath didn't fill out forms. My little conversation with him was quite powerful, because he basically listened to what I had to say, and then he reworded it in such a way like Michael just did. And he was empowering, because he reminded me that my journey is my own. And something that resonated with me is he said, "You're not healing enough for someone else's agenda." And he nailed it, because I didn't know, but after the 2-year mark, if you're not better, a lot of psychologists will just cut you off and label you as somebody who, you're not really trying, or you're trying to take the easy way out. Nobody ever said to me, "You're a liar, you're lazy, you're trying to take the easy way out." But when you're cutting me off of insurance and I'm not ready to return to work, what the hell else are you saying to me, right? So
Right.
I like, wow, like I'm gonna have to remember to say that, because people take longer to heal. And when you're dealing with something like brain fog, like, I mean, I know what it's like to sit down on my computer and hammer things out. But since my severe panic attack, I'm just not the same. It's getting better, but not like I used to be, right? Maybe I'll get there again. So thank you for saying
Or
that.
Yeah, or you may get back to where you were before, or you'll get back to a better you.
Yes, and thank you for saying that, because when the universe rocks us, that's one thing, but when the universe like shakes us and breaks us apart, wow, like now we have to rebuild that tower. And in truth, we always exist in a state of impermanence. So myself personally, I shouldn't have been clinging to things like I was, but I was in survival mode, and I recognize that now. So this exact conversation is the exact kind of conversation that speakers are going to be chatting about at the conference, and that why community and soul tribe are so important, because we resonate with each other with these exact conversations, you know? So just before I show you the slides, oh, I see Tammy's comment. The universe shook me in 2020. This is how I know I can't give to someone what I received freely. Yes. And what's interesting about me? My voice, it was like totally shot back in 2021 when I had my severe panic attack. My voice is getting better. That I noticed I'm shouting. So I don't mean to be shouting. It's just because I'm used to having to project that much more. So that's a good sign, you know?
No,
Um,
you're all good, and it's amazing. And I told everyone when I promoted this out about special announcement, and yes, the special announcement is this conference, but it also is the speakership and who stepped up. And I, as Gina's talking about all this, and my schedule with shows and other things going on, I don't have time to devote to a lot of things. But I approached her and I said, I can't necessarily do all of this, but can my show help you promote this conference and all your conferences coming up? And it was like, that was my way of helping and stepping up and supporting, because it's giving her a platform to help spread the word out, and it's a mutual collaboration and respect. And I love going on her story medicine shows, because she actually gets me when I'm talking about the book to go to places I normally don't go, because it's not what's the podcast. So everybody ought to tune in to those, and you'd be amazed at what she can do, and she does them her own. And so tune into those.
Thank you for that, Michael. And we just love having you on Story Species, Story Medicine. And it's just great. I see Tammy's comment. Your message is fantastic, and I'm interested in this conference. Well, good. Mark your calendar, Tammy. It's March 14th. And of course, the replay is always free. And Tammy's commenting, and I would have never known about this unless you put this on your podcast, Michael. One big circle, yes. And so anybody out there listening, please like and share. Show me some love. Like and subscribe to my YouTube. Support me on Buy Me a Coffee. And it's free to follow me on Buy Me a Coffee. And then you just get in on the emails, and we're connected, and you get to be in the know. And of course, there's my website, GinaVirginiaCasella.com. So I'm really excited. I think I'll just tell you the structure of the day, the teacher in me. There's a step 1, and then there's a step 2 and 3. So the night before the conference, at 11 a.m. Eastern, which is hilarious because that's the pre-conference eve, and the evening is 11 a.m. because I'm an early person. But I also had to consider international folks who might be tuning in, right? So it works in my favor. So the day before, the virtual vendors and I we're going to be hanging out live on my YouTube, just connecting with anybody who wants to connect with us. And I'd like everybody to, excuse me, I reach here, have a candle, because on the night of the conference eve, we're going to talk about carving into our candles. And then the next day at the conference, we're going to do an opening ceremony, and then everybody together light your candles. And so when you follow me, you get to know this kind of inside stuff. So if you're listening, put a candle to the side for the conference. Something I like doing is carving something in it. And then I take ashes from my incense and I just rub it in there, and it looks like a cool artifact or something. It doesn't burn very well. I've like rolled the whole candle in it, but it doesn't burn well. So that's just part of the hype and conversation too. And I'm hopeful that folks will take pictures of their candles, post it in the free Facebook group, the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, and then I can like scroll on there for updates and stuff. And the virtual vendors, they'll have time to let you know about what it is they're presenting. And then that'll be a wrap. And then the next day, the conference, the first, like it starts at 9, but at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be on YouTube Live saying hi to everybody, connecting about our candles. And then when 9 o'clock comes rolling around, the conference will officially commence. I've got Rick Gallagher, one of our dragon healers. The conference is going to start in silence. Rick is going to play healing sounds using the healing bowls. I'm really excited about that. I will welcome everybody, open sacred space. We're going to light our candles. And then Rick is going to play more sound healing music for us. Then the keynote speaker, yours truly. I've got a maximum 35-minute presentation. It's highly structured. And I'm going to talk about the importance of community and whatnot. My vision as the visionary of the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective. And then Rick is going to actually... I don't remember if he plays again, but then we're going to have a break. And another Dragon Dreamer, his name is Michael Catling, and he is an entrepreneur. He owns a mechanic shop. So by day, he fixes cars, and by night, he's an Elvis impersonator. So he's going to entertain us on the breaks. We're going to have a 20-minute break between each presenter. And so he just wants to like sing his heart out, right? But I had to tell him, I'm like, maybe just 1 or 2 songs per break, and then give people, because I don't want people to feel like they're missing out, right? So people want to go to the bathroom, get water, that kind of stuff. We're not going to worry about having a lunch break since it's going to be online. And as I mentioned, there'll be a 20-minute break in between. I do have some slides and a couple of videos to show you. I don't remember the exact order of presenters, but then Michael Kopp is going to be presenting. I don't know if he shared that with you. And then we're going to have Elvis again. We're going to have my good friend Brian Rue. Brian and I met years ago on his meetup group. It was initially called Preparing for ET Contact, and now it's called Vancouver UFO, and I got it written down, Preparing for Contact. He recently changed it again. So Brian Rue, very, very passionate about the ET agenda. Anybody who likes to connect, make sure you connect with Brian Rue. He's going to present. Each presentation, except for mine, will be followed by Q&As. Then we're going to have Elvis present again, and it's going to be that pattern. Presenter, Elvis, presenter, Elvis. We've got Chris Latour, who's going to be presenting about super soldier information. Also, John Whitman. And who else do we have? This is all written down. Maybe this is a good time to go over the slides. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. And
forgot it's a video. Sorry, I thought it was a picture.
Oh, that's okay.
This is the presenters.
Okay, hold on here. Oh, is this the video playing? Wait. No. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Pretend you didn't see that. Okay, so
Oh, you gotta love live shows.
this is what live is all about. And just so folks out there who are listening in, folks like Michael who are presenting, vending, and even Elvis who's going to be presenting on the breaks, this is all volunteer. And as an energy exchange, I'll be providing them with one of my one-of-a-kind gemstone readings. So I'm really looking forward to that. But just so folks out there know, I did set a bit of precedence and I let these folks involved know. And it did scare some away. Some people were like, yeah, that's too much work. I don't want to do that. And that's fine. But just so you know, I did ask people involved to send me a pre-recorded presentation, and even the healers and Elvis pre-recorded videos, just in case we have hiccups and technological issues when we're live. We're going to have a show must go on attitude, even though the first one is a free event. I don't want to be shy to set precedents out of respect for the time schedule and also the folks who are listening. And I would like to charge money in future for the other conferences. And so it's my intention that we're building Soul Tribe. It's not about the money. And I don't want people to feel like Michael was mentioning earlier, it's a bit challenging to find balance in life and work and play. So knowing that there's going to be 4 online conferences and hopeful for that in person, like seasonally, you always have something to look forward to. And there's always going to be like the day before, post-conference fun, the conference, and then the day after, reflections, and me looking on Facebook, share screen, what people shared. So, okay, so before I show you my slides, let me show you my video. And I'm going to pause myself so you can hear the video. So this is just the presenters.
I think it went through and you need to hit play again. You're muted, Gina.
I don't know if music played. There should have been music that played.
There was music.
Well, okay, good. On my end, it doesn't let me hear it. So that video, these are intended to be short and sweet. Those were the dragon presenters. This one here is our dragon healers. All right, and this one is the virtual vendors. The videos, they're pretty fast. I'm just wondering here, this one here. right. Thank you for letting me play that again. I thought I missed somebody. That's why I was like, I gotta fix this video. But everybody who needs to be in the video is there. Michael Catling is in there twice because his Elvis, he's gonna be vending that, and he's also a mechanic. So I thought that was really cool that by day he fixes cars and by night he sings. And behind the scenes, Michael Catling and I were chatting, the Elvis impersonator, and he told me a beautiful story about how Elvis Presley basically helped to heal him, and singing helped him heal. And now he doesn't even mean to, but he heals others. So when he performs, he just performs at the local pubs and that kind of stuff. And everyone's always telling him, thank you, you helped healed me, that kind of stuff. And so I was like, you got to be a healer and perform Elvis at my event. And he was like, well, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. Because who doesn't heal with music, right? And folks like Michael Kopp here are from basically Texas, is that whole area, Memphis, that's Elvis zone. So I think everybody loves Elvis, and it'll be a really nice treat. What were you gonna say, Michael?
Oh, I was just pointing out, that Elvis, crossed so many genres that, people just will be like, oh, yeah, I know him as the Hound Dog, or I know him as. But he was in gospel, he was in country. I mean, he was so wide that, and his messages, you could hear messages in his music, some of the songs. You got yourself on mute, Gina.
It's worth mentioning the negativity and backlash that I was experiencing a year ago compared to how much flow. So when you're in right relationship, things happen. And I came into a right relationship with people in the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe community, including complete strangers who just randomly saw my information, don't even really know me, something about a conference, getting involved. And one thing led to another, that things were happening so fast that I found myself hounding all of the presenters and vendors behind the scenes, like Michael Michael Kopp can relate. Like on Sunday, I'm like, Sunday by midnight, I need your stuff, because Monday I'm creating things and it's already Wednesday. The conference is in 4.5 weeks. So in 5 Saturdays, we're going live. So it's really, really exciting how this came together. Why don't I just show you some slides here? So like I said, all my content is merging together. So that umbrella term is called Project 30 Isis Unity Consciousness. So story species, story medicine. When folks come on my show, they share their story, they share their medicine. And it's not just any stories that are being shared. It's stories about supernatural experiences, interesting dreams, the ET agenda. When it comes to government conspiracy theories, I don't want it to be focused on those kind of labels. I want it to be focused on the person sharing their medicine. I don't want to worry about decimation of character. In fact, somebody reported me a few months ago now, and I had to put a disclaimer calling all of my content entertainment, which initially deeply offended me. And now I feel very liberated and free, because this label as entertainment really helps to facilitate the medicine sharing that we need to do. And if you're like me, well, I don't give a hoot about investigating you. I know Michael Kopp is a paranormal investigator, but with me, I don't investigate my guests. And so I have to hold my guests in the highest light and say to myself that if somebody is sharing their story to the point that they're publishing a book about it. That to me is very enticing. That to me says that they've got a message to share. And for me personally, even if I'm the only person watching Story Species, Story Medicine, I soak up all the medicine I can. And so if anybody out there is interested in being on Story Species, Story Medicine, 2026, I now call it Extra Strength. If you're like, I don't know if that's, if I'm good enough to be on that show, or if my interesting dreams or my super soldier experience, or maybe that alternate reality, maybe this is the place for it. Okay. If you're worried about sounding weird, I challenge you, because weird is the new norm. There's nothing strange about high strangeness. The paranormal is very normal, and our supernatural experiences are just that, natural, right? So anybody who's on my show, starting in 2006 and on, I'm going to create a little summary and slap it in a chapter, publishing it in a book. So the attention, the views, any money generated from sales, that's all going to help to support the greater good of ISIS, conscious evolution, unity consciousness, all the things that I'm doing, the Dragon Dreams movies, and most of all, most importantly, it's bridging the community. Now more than ever, we need community. Another way that I'm raising awareness and fundraising money is Dreaming with Gemstone Gina. So I used to come on Michael's show the first Wednesday of every month. We had a little routine, but I ended it because now it's very specific. It's the last Friday of the month, and it's by donation. So don't donate unless I'm live doing this. If you want to donate money just to give me money, please do. But if you want a gemstone reading by yours truly, the last Friday of the month, 11 a.m. Eastern, that's when I go live. My good friend Alex Lipton is hosting me. Julia Ankerhaven, she's been a Dragon Monitor for pretty much everything that I'm doing now. And I just feel the luxury. I feel the support. I'm not used to having somebody host me, I've been hosted, but I mean on my show, and having somebody in the comments. I don't know about folks and trolls, but oh geez, like it was getting to be such a problem for me. So I feel like things are smoothing out, and this is also part of being in right relationship and rising above, and the world shuffling. And you know what? Maybe a year ago, people who are reaching out to me now, maybe they weren't in a place to reach out to me a year ago. So it worked out for whatever reasons, So that's another thing that I'm doing, Dreaming with Gemstone Gina. If you book a private session with me, there's opportunity to have a gemstone reading as well. So this is all based on dreams half remembered, half misunderstood. And this is how we unite. In my meditations, united are we, be free, blessed be. Those are messages that come to me. And one of them is consistently us is. We is, because there is no we are. We is, we I. Well, we I, that's really bad English, right? So to make a long story short, eyes is. I apostrophe S. Eyes is. Well, that's bad English and grammar too. So I'm going with Isis. And a lot of folks think about the Egyptian god Isis. I too think about her. And I'm convinced there's some kind of Isis connection. And the color orange is really important. It was honestly very challenging for me to think of an umbrella term for all of this. And the very title of the conference, the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, Story Species, Story Medicine, I'll get my head out of the way here, the Continuum of Conscious Evolution Conference Series, Promise of Spring. In each season, there's a different ending. And I thought, well, that's a really long title, right? And initially it was longer. The word education was in there and other stuff. And then I thought, well, who the hell cares? Because when we're talking about the conference, like this is the conference we're talking about, right? And so, Promise of Spring, if you want a short form, Promise of Spring. And every spring it's going to be called Promise of Spring, So it's just going to be a matter of keeping track of the years. And if you look on my YouTube channel, I started a playlist and it's called The Conference because, again, hell other conference would we be talking about? We're Dragon Dreamers. So when we talk about a conference, it's this conference, right? So I'm really excited about that. And I'm really looking forward to all of the dreaming and learning we're going to do together, all of the growing, all of the conversations that we're going to have and connecting. Already, people are networking with each other and magic is happening, right? So this is just the beginning. And this is actually all part of my book series, all of this content coming together, all of us coming together, all these different avenues. So it's really, really exciting. I think I just got a few more slides here to show you. This is just a little bit about me, Project 30, Isis, Unity Consciousness. These are things that I'm passionate about, transforming trauma into treasure and taking those life lessons with us. So there's the free Facebook group, the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective. You can follow me on Buy Me a Coffee for free. And there's also my YouTube channel. It's free to subscribe. And I lovingly invite you to do that. So you're connected with us. Your soul tribe awaits you. So come and say hello to us. And everybody goes through phases, I find, in my Facebook group, sharing information, showing pictures of their dream journals. And I would like that to be just a regular ongoing thing that's happening. And now that there's going to be conferences happening seasonally, I'm really looking forward to a continuous flow. And I have to have a little laugh because what's also predicted in my book series is that, so I have all this education, life skills training experience behind me. I do mind reprogram. I can totally rebalance your chakras, help you with soul retrieval and whatnot. But it seems like this is where my mission is ultimately steering me to. And I'm indifferent because I told the universe I want community. And if I have to be the administrator, and if I'm going to actually work with Paul Energy and get results like I'm getting now in 2026 with people who are interested because it's passion driven, please sign me up. So the universe has signed me up for this. And I couldn't be more happy. I published books in Oracle. So like I said, everything is coming together. And did I show you this slide yet? This one's just reiterating March 14th. And the main slide here in the 2 stars, it's a bit small on my screen, but on the left side, reiterating the pre-conference fun. So that's hanging out with the virtual vendors. Then there's March 14th, the day of the conference. And then the day after the conference, the golden star on the right, that's the post-conference activity. And so I know there's going to be tons of reflecting and lots to look forward to. What else do I want to tell you? Oh, yeah. I wanted to tell you something really cool. So I told you about, like, everybody here is familiar with Michael Kopp publishing his books, and Michael's going to be one of the speakers. Brian Rue talked about him a little bit. Chris Latour and John Whitberg both have very interesting Super Soldier program information insight to share. Both of them are on a quest to find their own information, and it's defaulting their stories, connecting to others. So again, that's what this is all about, right? And Alex Lipton, that's the other speaker. He has all kinds of interesting things to talk about. I'm not sure what his presentation is going to be on yet, but he's very relatable. Just yesterday, he was on Story Species, Story Medicine, Extra Strength. So make sure, again, you check out my YouTube channel. But this is what I wanted to share with you is Rick Gallagher's wife. So Rick reached out to me right away to be one of the sound healers, right? But then when I actually met with him, there was some confusion because he kept talking about vending. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like if you want to be a vendor for your healing services. And to make a long story short, his wife wanted in on the conference. All right. So Suze Gallagher is going to be a vendor at the conference. And because I'm already full in terms of speakers, Sue Gallagher will be a presenter at the next conference in June, which is called Summer Days. So you can look forward to that. And who is Sue Gallagher? Well, you know what? She's like me. She published an oracle, except her oracle is in the form of a book. So instead of having like playing cards that you mix and sort around, she went with the method where, like her own spiritual autonomy and divinational practice, she likes to open the book and pick a random page, and that's like the special card, right? So she was hanging out with her girlfriends, and they were staying at a cabin somewhere. And in the middle of the night, she had beautiful visions. You know, this sky opened up, so to speak, to her, and she started hearing special messages in her head. And before this experience, she was very diligent about journaling, right? So those of you who are dream journaling and whatnot, I feel like it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You keep talking to the universe, at some point the universe starts talking back to you, and arguably the universe is always talking to you. It's just a matter if you can hear it or not. And so she stepped into her gift as an oracle. And thankfully at that time, she had people in her community who supported this. So before you know it, she wrote a book, published it, and she just did it for herself, right? But the response that she got from her community and about how much it really helped them. And I have it on PDF. They're sending me a hard copy, but I just glanced at it, and right away, Rick sent me the first 10 pages, which was part of the confusion initially, because I'm like, you're playing the sound bowls. Why are you sending me 10 pages of this book? Like, and I'm like, you know, if your wife wrote a book, she's going to be on my show about the book, not you on the show about her book. Like, confusing. But anyways, it's been 25 years. So now Sue Gallagher, 25 years later, Sue Gallagher, 25th anniversary. And so I feel really special that she's going to be on in my conference and as a vendor, and just chatting with her behind the scenes. Because myself recently publishing the Dragon Dreams Oracle, like, who am I to publish that? I never thought I would do anything like that. And even being referred to as an oracle, it just, I didn't even think of myself as an oracle, you know? So, Suze and I, we saw a lot of each other in each other, even though our lifestyles are very different. She's, you know, a great grandmother. She has 4 boys. I don't have any children, right? I've been very career driven, and yet through Oracle, through our own divinational practices, and I noticed when I was chatting with Suze, both of us didn't really have to say much because we just got each other. And I don't experience that often. And that's the power of Soul Tribe, right? This isn't like what I do and what I talk about. It's not for everybody. And I get that. And for what it's worth, there's a lot of Dragon Dreamers. Like, my audience is all over the place. So I have great hopes and dreams about networking and mentorship and future workshops to come based on the needs of the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. And I guess that's the teacher in me, reassessing the needs So as the conferences go by, right now I'm just taking anybody who's willing to speak. But as the conferences go by and we grow together, I would like to have, maybe like one conference more heavy on the super soldiers, and then we could have a conference that's a bit more heavy on things like dreams, just to help separate it a bit. I'm just tossing ideas out there. For example, I personally like going to conferences where you do a lot of heavy thinking in the morning, and then the afternoon it's more like workshop, um, informal kind of learning sessions that you get to do, experiential learning and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Kind
And
of like get to
one
play
thing I
with
really
what
like
you learn.
to do is sound baths. Oh, go ahead, Michael. I'm just speed talking here, excited.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, yeah, in the afternoon, it's like you want to have fun and practice what you learned.
Yes. So I have big hopes and dreams. And you know what I thought might be fun too is, for the in-person conference, the reason it's to be determined is, I don't want to get people together and then it's just a few of us sitting in a coffee shop. Like I can organize that on a smaller scale, but I thought to myself, even if it is just a few of us sitting at a coffee shop in the summertime, what's wrong with that? It works in the favor of whoever's local. Currently, I'm in London, Ontario. That's why it, works out for me. But I want the in-person conference to be in a different location every year. That way, internationally, there's a presence at least once a year. Canada, Eastern Canada, and definitely would like to get to Western Canada, like all over the place, right? Not just in one place all the time. And in terms of costume parties, those are always fun, right? I thought, wouldn't it be fun if everybody dressed up like Elvis or something like that in honor of this first conference where Michael Catling is going to be providing us with Elvis impersonator entertainment, right? And then Sue's Gallagher's book. I've got big hopes and dreams, so I'm really excited. And I've been talking your ear off. I really appreciate it. And I know I sound scattered and I don't even care because this is exciting and this is all fresh off the press, if you will. So when you follow Michael Kopp and when you follow me, you're going to get the latest information. Um, and I really appreciate that. And I never want to take it for granted. I really appreciate folks who are tuning in. I've been calling out for Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Executive Committee. I don't have one yet. It's not too late to join me. And right now I have a subcommittee for Dreaming with Gemstone Gina, and that's Alex Lipton, who's hosting, and Julia Ankerhaven, who's committed to monitoring. And I really appreciate Julia Ankerhaven because she's one of the first people that I completely, totally overwhelmed. I just breathed a whisper of the conference. Like I was looking for somebody to monitor the chat. And she just very casually was like, I can do that, And then I'm like, well, maybe you're interested in joining the executive committee. Blah, 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 blah. Here, Julia, here's a big PDF of all my and then I didn't hear from her just because she's traveling. Julia has an exciting life. And but she got back to me. She doesn't want to be on the executive. That's okay, but she's willing to be a monitor in the background. And so she's been a constant support. And she's even, I asked her to present, not this round, maybe in future she will, but it's through Julia Ankerhaven's networking that I was able to get John Whitberg, who's going to be presenting as well. And so this is just another testament of that Venn diagram and different circles coming together, different communities coming together. And when I asked Julia if she was open to, monitoring the whole entire conference from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m., including the pre-day before and the post after. And she's just like, oh, yeah, no problem. Like, I really appreciate that because nobody else offered to monitor. And I feel like Julie is a good luck charm because when Julia's not monitoring, like those few times, I do have trolls in the chat. so, if you're like Julia and you like attending things and you're going to be in the chat anyways, and you wanted to get involved, you could totally buddy up with Julia Anchorhaven and be a monitor. And like I said, she has an exciting life. And so if she can't make it one day, then you can have all the attention being the dragon monitor. And so a real special thanks. And everybody who's involved in the conference this round, there's something special about them. Like the story I just told you about Rick and Suze Gallagher, the husband-wife duo, and the wife wanting to get in on it, right? And then my connection with Michael Kopp, my connection with Alex Lipton. We meet monthly. We belong to a community. He hosts. I'm passionate about the Venn diagram and the hero's journey, so we connected from that. Julie, I know her through the Typical Skeptic podcast, and it was through her that John Whitberg was connected to me. And then Chris Latour, he's a fellow Canadian. And I freaking love the way that guy sounds because my mother's side is French Canadian. So it's so nostalgic. Like, I don't think it even matters what that guy talks about. Chris Latour, just talking is like, it's nice to hear his voice. And so
he is a great guest.
Yeah, he is. I haven't had the pleasure of having him. He had to reschedule for Story Species Story Medicine, so he will be on there before the conference. And that's another reason why I overwhelmed everybody. I'm like, I need you at the conference, and I need you on Story Species Story Medicine, and I need to give you a free gemstone reading in exchange for all of this. So I couldn't be more thrilled.
Signing up soon.
Brian Rue.
Yep, I'll be returning
Brian
soon.
Rue on a final note. Oh, go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I was just saying, as you were saying, getting everyone on Story Species, I said I will be returning soon. I just have a couple of little hiccups to get over.
And you know what? Michael Kopp has been a returning guest on Story Species Story Medicine. So he won't be on Story Species Story Medicine before the conference, but definitely after. And looking forward to Michael being a returning guest as well. And you can check out Michael Kopp's videos on my YouTube. Yep. And something that was really messing me up was Michael Kopp and Michael Catling spell Michael differently. Michael Kopp is A-E-L and Michael Catling is E-A-L. So I was already confusing how to spell Michael Kopp's name. Let me know if anybody can relate in the comments.
It's Gaelic.
On a final note, I wanted to mention Brian Rue because, Brian Rue and his meetup group, they were the first group that I joined where I was starting to share out in my ghost stories and spiritual experiences. And his group was like, yeah, whatever. But for me, it was like a big deal, right? And I remember that. And before you know it, I was helping him host. And Brian Rue, he's published multiple books. He's a Buddhist teacher, actually, and very inspiring. And honestly, if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would have published mine because I really wasn't well when I did publish them. I couldn't afford an editor. It was important for me to have my name and only my name on my book. I felt very overwhelmed. And he just had a very nonchalant attitude and also a very encouraging attitude because he was like, you could do a second edition, and really inspiring, telling it like it is. Like, if you want to publish something, do it. Because if people want to buy your book, they'll buy it because they're interested in what you have to say. And that's being in right relationship. People who are going to complain about the odd spelling mistake or, something didn't make sense, those aren't people worth paying attention to anyways. And so before you knew it, I was YouTubing how to upload stuff onto KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. And then when I published my first 4 books, which was intended to be one book, Brian didn't hesitate to have me on his show. And I really delighted in reading straight from the book. And connecting with his audience, and I'm looking forward to his audience connecting with mine. There's also, he runs the Vancouver UFO meetup group, but there's also a Seattle UFO meetup group, and then those two groups get together. So again, getting together, bridging worlds, bridging dreams, and really excited and clearly pumped up and overwhelmed in a positive way. So, I don't know.
So super congratulations, and thank you for letting me be a part of it as well. And I know time wise, you have things you got to get to going to. And so, as always, my heart to and the heart of my show is to you, Gina. Thank you for what you're doing. It's seen, heard, and appreciated. And do know we do miss you on the show, but we understand and we still support you doing your gemstones. And I look forward to collaborating more in the future. And for anyone who is wanting to follow along, as she said, she will be back on March 4th and we'll be updating you with the more closer to presentation details. So make sure you tune in for that episode as well. And any final thoughts for the audience, Gina?
I'm very excited. Like Michael said, keep following me for updates. Um, please like and share, subscribe to my YouTube. I hope to see you the last Friday of the month for Dreaming with Gemstone Gina. That's every month. And I do miss coming here on Riding Through the Unknown the first Wednesday of the month. When I've been messaging Michael, I'm like, I miss being on your show. Or it feels weird because I'm supposed to be on your show right now, but I shuffled my schedule around. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, the first 2 weeks of every month, I've got a little time slot reserved for paying clients. And then that's why I'm available typically 1:30 now on Wednesdays. Um, so all part of the greater change. And I look forward to everybody getting a candle. Get a candle, any size will do, something that's going to burn, to take you through the conference, and get in on the hype. Join the free Facebook group, the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. I would love to see you in there sharing pictures of your dream journal, interesting dreams, connecting with other dragon dreamers. And I would absolutely adore if you registered for one of my memberships. It took me about 3 months to retrieve my soul, and I learned it's not a one-off session. So you know what? Some people, all they need is a one-off, but my clients typically need a good 3 months to 24 months of consecutive monthly services. But you know what? When you think about eternity and your soul and eternity, what's 3 to 24 months, right? So if you're ready to take the deep dive, let's go deep. And on a final note, promise of spring, March 14th, mark your calendar for the conference. It's going to be the first one ever. It's free, and annually the first one is always going to be free. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate being here today.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing the promotion to take place here, and blessings to you on all that you're doing and all that you have coming up. And we will say good afternoon to everyone at this point, and we will see you back on March 4th and the latest update. And do follow along. And if you want to join the Facebook group, I will just state really quick that the link is in the bio description. And I have posted her Buy Me a Coffee on the banner every once in a while, popped it up, her website, and her YouTube. So all the links should be available. And so do follow along. And Make it a great day, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everybody. See you later. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.